Good morning, students.
Morning.
Okay, so sorry, 1 minute. So today we are going to discuss the sixth chapter, electromagnetic induction, up to motional EMF. Did you go through that portions? Electromagnetic induction and Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. What do you mean by magnetic flux? Lens force. Lens force is something associated with that of the conservation of energy and motional EMF. Did you go through these topics? Okay. So here you can see the concept map of this chapter, electromagnetic induction. So first of all, we can discuss what all things that we were discussed in this chapter, electromagnetic induction. So we are start this chapter by defining magnetic flux. So students, can you recall what you mean by magnetic flux? Definition for magnetic flux.
Total number of magnetic field lines passing normally through a material.
Okay, it is the total number of magnetic field lines that is passing through a given area is known as magnetic flux. And what is the equation for calculating magnetic flux?
Phi is equal to V cos theta.
Phi is equal to B dot A. Since it is a dot product, we can say phi is equal to BA cos theta, where phi represents the magnetic flux. And if phi is equal to 0 or 180 degree, that is phi is equal to BA cos theta, and theta is the angle between magnetic field and that of the area of cross section. If the angle between magnetic field and area of cross section, that is the theta between B and A, is equal to 0 degree or 180 degree, then phi is equal to BA. And if the angle between the magnetic field and area of cross section, that is if they are mutually perpendicular to each other, the angle between them is equal to 90 degree. In such cases, magnetic flux will be equal to 0. So if the magnetic field and area of cross section are parallel or anti-parallel, we can say that the flux is maximum. Phi is equal to BA. But if they are mutually perpendicular to each other, the magnetic flux phi is equal to 0. And here you can see the unit of magnetic flux. It is Weber. We are right WB. We are represented by WB. It's a unit of magnetic flux. Then we discuss about the Faraday's law. So state Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Srihari, Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Here you can see this Faraday's law. Naurin, Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction.
It is the magnitude of induced EMF in a circuit. It is equal to the rate of change of magnetic flux through the circuit.
Okay, the induced EMF in a circuit is proportional to that of the magnetic flux that is developed in a circuit. It is given by E is equal to minus d phi by dt. The rate of change of magnetic flux associated with a circuit gives the induced EMF. And here this negative sign that we can see in this Faraday's law is better explained by Lenz's. That is what is known as Lenz's law of electromagnetic induction. So according to him, he says that this negative sign, because the induced EMF is always try to opposes the cause of its production, cause of the current that is produced in a circuit. So Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, he says, induced EMF is directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux associated with it, or we can write E is equal to, where E or epsilon is represents the induced EMF. So induced EMF is equal to minus d phi by dt, where this d phi by dt is represents the rate of change of magnetic flux. D phi by dt is nothing. It is the rate of change of magnetic flux. So sometimes in questions, they are providing the value of phi 1, phi 2, T1 and T2. If the magnetic flux at a time t1 is phi1, magnetic flux at a time t2 is phi2, then you can see the induced EMF in such a circuit by using the equation. Induced EMF E or epsilon is equal to minus of phi2 minus phi1 divided by T2 minus T1. Okay, because in some questions they may be provided the value of magnetic flux at a different time intervals. Phi1 at the magnetic flux corresponding to the time t1, phi2 is the magnetic flux corresponding to the time t2. Then we know that according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, the induced EMF in a circuit is equal to the rate of change of magnetic flux associated with that particular circuit. That is, E is equal to minus d phi by dt. So here we need to just subtract the given magnetic flux and that of the respective time. So minus phi2 minus phi1 divided by T2 minus T1 gives the induced EMF in a circuit. Sometimes they are gives the value of phi in the form of phi is equal to phi t square plus 2t square 2t plus 3. Then how we can find out the induced EMF? Induced EMF is equal to minus of d by dt of phi. That is, you need to take the derivative of this entire function. Okay, d phi by dt, that is equal to minus d by dt of 5t square plus 2t plus 3. I hope that all of you know how to derive the or find the derivative of the functions, right? How to find out the derivative of functions? Do you know the basic equations that we are used
Yes,
for
ma'am.
derivation? Okay, all right. We can discuss a problem like that. Then we will discuss about the induced EMF. How the EMF is induced in a circuit. It is because of the motion or the movement of conductor in a uniform magnetic field. So when a conductor moves in a uniform magnetic field, it will generate an EMF, and that EMF generated is known as motional EMF. That induced EMF is known as motional EMF. And we derive an equation for calculating motional EMF or induced EMF. E is equal to negative BLB, where B indicates the magnetic field, L is the length of the conductor, and what is this V represents? V.
Velocity.
Velocity. Here it is not the voltage or potential, it is the velocity. Velocity or the speed of the conductor inside this uniform magnetic field. And this negative sign indicates the direction. Okay. So this E is equal to negative BLB is in the case of a straight conductor. Now you just imagine if our conducting surface is in a circular shape, then what will be the equation for induced EMF or motional EMF? For a straight
Half
rod,
V omega r square.
yes, here they are writing L omega square. So if the conductor is in the form of a circular shape, then the induced EMF or motional EMF can be calculated by E is equal to half d omega r square. If it is in a circular shape, where r is the radius of the circle, omega is the angular velocity. So instead of linear velocity, if it is in a circular shape, we need to consider its angular velocity, and d is the magnetic field. Okay, so I think we discuss only these three topics today. I hope all of you are thorough with the concept, so we can move with the problems. Okay, so here you have the first question. A coil of area A is equal to 0.5 meters square is situated in a uniform magnetic field B is equal to 4 Web per meter square. An area vector makes an angle of 60 degree with respect to the magnetic field. The value of the magnetic flux through the area A would be equal to 2 Weber, 1 Weber, 3 Weber, 3 by 2 Weber. So what are the parameters are given here? Area given, magnetic field BA, and the angle between them is 60 degree. So here we want to calculate the value of magnetic flux through the area A. What is the equation for calculating the magnetic flux?
B cos
Phi is equal to BA cos theta. So here B is given, B is 4. Area of the loop or area of the coil of area is given by 0.5 meter square into the angle between area and that of the magnetic field is 60 degrees. So cos 60. That is equal to 4 into 0.5. What is 4 into 0.5? It's a simple question.
2.
2. 2.0, that is 2. Cos 60, what's the value of cos 60?
1 by 2.
1 by 2. So here this 2 and 2 cancel. So what will be the answer? 1 Weber. So which is the right option? Here it is option B. Okay. So here if the area is given, magnetic field is given, angle between them is also provided. So that you can use the direct equation. The magnetic flux phi is equal to B dot A, that is BA cos theta. Okay. So here, you must know the value of all cos functions or sine functions, then you can easily do the calculations. Is it clear? So the answer is 1 Weber. Can I move to the next question?
Ma'am, 1 minute. Okay, ma'am.
Second question, a coil of n turns and area A is rotated at the rate of n rotations per second in a magnetic field of intensity B. The magnitude of the maximum magnetic flux will be capital NAB, small nab, capital N small nab, 2 pi NAB. Okay, so what is the answer here? A coil of n turns and area A is rotated at the rate of n rotation per second in a magnetic field of intensity B. The magnitude of the maximum magnetic flux will be. Emmanuel,
Option D, ma'am.
option D, 2 pi NAB. D or B? D. Okay. Then any other options? Michael? Anthony, what about your option?
D.
Option B. B or D?
D. 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 D.
B, B, B. Okay. Aditya,
Option B.
option B. Okay. Is there any other option? Anna?
Ma'am, option B.
Option B. Nandana? Nandana is
A.
confused. Option A. Okay. So here we want to calculate the magnitude of maximum magnetic flux. So again, what is the equation for calculating the magnetic flux? Magnetic flux phi is equal to BA cos theta. But here we have n number of turns. So this magnetic flux phi is equal to BA cos theta for only one number of turn. For n turns, equation becomes phi is equal to NBA cos theta. For n number of turns, n is equal to phi is equal to NBA cos theta. And here we want to calculate the magnitude of magnetic flux, maximum magnetic flux at maximum condition. What is the maximum condition for the magnitude of maximum magnetic flux? When we are obtaining a, yes, theta is equal to 0 degree. So theta is equal to 0 degree means phi is equal to NBA cos 0. What is cos 0? Cos 0 is equal to 1. So what will be the answer? Phi is equal to NBA. So what is the right option here? Is it B or A? Option A, NAB. A coil of n turns and area A is rotated at the rate of n rotations per second. So you don't need to be mind about this, how many rotations per second. They are provided the n number of turns of the coil and with a magnetic field intensity B. The magnitude of the maximum magnetic flux. Maximum magnetic flux means the angle between the area of the coil and that of the magnetic field is equal to 0 degree. Cos 0 is equal to 1. So phi is equal to NAB or NBA. So option A is right. Now the third question. A 2-meter wire is moving with a velocity of 1 meter per second perpendicular to a magnetic field of 0.5 Weber per meter square. The EMF induced in it will be.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I mean the previous question, why do we take theta as 0?
Because they are asking the condition, the magnitude of the maximum magnetic flux. Maximum. So what is the condition for maximum magnetic flux? Either theta is equal to 0 degree or 180 degree. This is the maximum magnetic flux. Then cos 0 or cos 180 is equal to 1. So we get phi is equal to NAB. Now you just imagine if the angle between A and B is 90 degree. They are mutually perpendicular. Then it becomes cos 90. What is the value of cos 90? Cos 90 is equal to 0. Then what will be the entire value of magnetic flux? Magnetic flux will become 0 degree. So the maximum condition for the magnetic flux, magnitude of magnetic flux is either 0 degree or 180 degree. That is what is we were discussed in the previous slide. Okay, magnetic flux phi is equal to BA cos theta. And this magnetic flux is maximum for 0 theta is equal to 0 degree or 180 degree. Then only we get phi is equal to BA. If the theta is equal to 90 degree, the magnetic flux phi is equal to 0. This is the minimum value of the magnetic flux. Is it clear, Achyut?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the third question. A 2-meter wire is moving with a velocity of 1 meter per second perpendicular to a magnetic field of 0.5 Weber per meter square. The EMF induced in it will be 0.5 volt, 0.1 volt, 1 volt, 2 volt. What is the equation for calculating the EMF induced in this metal wire? 2-meter wire, sorry, not metal wire, a 2-meter wire. A 2-meter wire is moving with a velocity of 1 meter per second perpendicular to a magnetic field of 0.5 Weber per meter square. Then the EMF induced in it will be. Adul, which is equation we can use here in order to find out the induced EMF?
VLV.
Very good. Because here the conductor is moving. It is moving with a velocity of 1 meter per second. So the induced EMF is nothing. It is the motional EMF. It is given by E is equal to BLV. So here the value of B is given 0.5. 0.5 Weber per meter square. What about the length of the wire? Length?
2 meter.
Very good. Length L is equal to 2 meter. It is not given in a numerical form. A 2-meter wire is moving with a velocity of 1 meter per second. And here the velocity V is equal to 1 meter per second. Then the induced EMF, that is the motional EMF, is equal to BLB, 0.5 into 2 into 1. Answer?
Option C.
It is 1 volt. Option C. Can we move to the next question?
Yes.
A metallic square loop ABCD is moving in its own plane with a velocity V in a uniform magnetic field perpendicular to its plane as shown as in the figure. An electric field is induced in AD but not in BC, in BC but not in AD, neither in AD nor in BC, in both AD and BC. So before that, can you say what about the direction of the magnetic field? Is it project into the plane of the paper or out of the plane of the paper? What about it is projecting out of the plane of the paper? Why?
Dot symbol.
Yes, because here the magnetic field is represented by dot symbols. If the magnetic field is represented by dot, then we can say the magnetic field lines are projecting out of the plane of the paper. If it is represented by a cross symbol, then we can say magnetic field is projecting into the plane. Okay. I'm just asking here. That is what is not the question. Here we want to calculate an electric field is induced. Here ABCD is a metallic square loop that is moving inside a uniform magnetic field with a velocity V. Then what do you think? The electric field is induced either in AD only or in BC or in both AD and BC, neither in AD nor in BC. What do you think? In which portion electric field is induced? Please keep in your mind, it is a metallic square loop ABCD. All the four sides of this square loop is metallic in nature. But here we are only need to think about the two sides AD and BC. Rijas, try to guess any option.
C.
Option C, neither in AD nor in BC. Okay, then. Malavika,
Yes, ma'am.
can you guess any option?
Now is it B?
B.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Gayatri,
D.
it is D. Why?
It is metallic.
Since it is parallel, that's right. Actually, students, here please note that here the loop ABCD is a metallic loop. In the case of a conductors, metallic conductors, which is acting as a carrier of the charge. Free electrons are behaves like the carrier of the charge. And here in this question, they have said that a metallic square loop ABCD is moving in its own plane with a velocity v in a uniform magnetic field that is perpendicular to its plane as shown as in the figure. So this square loop ABCD is moving perpendicular to that of the uniform magnetic field with a velocity v. And here we know that ABCD is a metallic square loop. So it consists of free electrons. Surely it consists of free electrons. So whenever this metallic loop or the metallic square loop is moving inside this uniform magnetic field, it changes the magnetic flux associated with it. So whenever the magnetic flux associated with it is changes, what will be induced here? An EMF is induced. And this induced EMF leads to the generation of the electric field. Okay, this induced EMF generates the electric field. So we can say here this electric field is induced both in AD and BC. Not in AD and BC, the electric field is induced in all its direction. Not all its direction, AD and BC. They are perpendicular to that of the magnetic field. Okay. So the correct option is in both AD and BC, because this is a metallic square loop. And we know that inside the metallic square loop, it consists of free electrons. So whenever this metallic square loop moves in a uniform magnetic field, the magnetic flux associated with it is changes, and EMF will be induced here. And this induced EMF will generate an electric field. So here we can see here we can say the electric field is induced both AD and BC. Not only in AD, but also in BC. Okay, so the correct option is in both AD and BC. Because it is a metallic square loop. Metallic square loop consists of free electrons. They are the charge carriers of the conductors. So whenever it moves along a uniform magnetic field, magnetic flux associated with it changes. That is what is the basic principle of this chapter, electromagnetic induction. So whenever a magnetic flux changes, an EMF is induced. That induced EMF is what we are calling as motional EMF, which will lead to the generation of an electric field, both in these two sides, AD and BC. Okay. The next question.
Ma'am,
Yes.
not clear, ma'am. Can you explain again?
Okay, okay. Once again, I will explain. Actually, this ABCD is represents a metallic square loop. We know that inside a metallic square loop, the charge carriers are nothing. They are the free electrons. Free electrons are behaves like a charge carriers. So when this metallic loop with the free electrons are moved inside a uniform magnetic field, it is moving inside a uniform magnetic field with a velocity v. An EMF will be induced here. That induced EMF generate the electric field. Okay, induced EMF will generate an electric field in both vertical sides of this metallic square loop, AD and BC. Then just try to recall what you mean by electric field. Try to recall the definition of electric field from that of the first chapter. It is something that we can relate with this first chapter and that of the magnetism and matter. So here ABCD is a metallic square loop. It consists of free electrons. Free electrons are behaves like the charge carriers. So this metallic loop with these free electrons are moves inside a uniform magnetic field. Magnetic flux associated with it is changes. Magnetic flux associated with it is changes, and it will induce us an EMF. That induced EMF that we are call it as motional EMF. Due to the presence of this motional EMF, it will create an electric field in this metallic loop, especially in this direction, in these two sides, AD and BC. Electromagnetic induction is the generation of electricity as a result of the relative movement between that of the magnet or that of the conductor. So similarly, as a result of the change in the magnetic flux, an EMF is induced. That induced EMF will create an electric field in both sides of this metallic square loop, AD and BC. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. Your say it is surely yes. Is it clear, Achyut?
Not completely, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, Achyut, you just compare its this phenomenon, this entire phenomenon with that of the definition of electromagnetic induction. What do you mean by electromagnetic induction? Electromagnetic induction means the generation or the production of the induced current as a result of the relative motion between the conductor and that of the magnet. Conductor and magnet is generate a current. That current is known as induced current. So similarly, here the conductor is the metallic square loop. It consists of some free electrons. They are behaves like charge carriers. So whenever this metallic loop is moving inside this uniform magnetic field and magnetic flux associated with this conductor is changes, it will induces an EMF. This induced EMF will surely create an electric field in this metallic loop.
Okay.
Okay. Now the next question. One minute. We have some more numericals. After that, we can move to this assertion and reasoning session. Assertion and reasoning of this chapter is more simpler than that of the alternating current. I think so. So these are the directions in order to solve this assertion and reasoning. Option A, if both assertion and reason are true and the reason is the correct explanation for the assertion. Option B, both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not the correct explanation for the assertion. Option C, assertion is true, but the reason is false. And option D, assertion is false, but the reason is true. Okay. So here you have the first question. When a metallic square moves inside a uniform magnetic field, then there is no induced EMF in it. Reason: EMF is induced when there is a rate of change of magnetic flux. You can correlate this question with that of something that we were discussed in our previous question. When a metallic square moves inside a uniform magnetic field, then there is no induced EMF in it. What do you think? Does the assertion is correct or incorrect?
Incorrect.
It is incorrect. Assertion is incorrect. Because when a conductor moves inside a uniform magnetic field, then the magnetic flux associated with it is changes. It surely induces an EMF inside this conductor. But here they are saying then there is no induced EMF in it. So it is incorrect. Okay, then what about the reason? EMF is induced when there is a rate of change of magnetic flux.
Correct.
It is correct. Second question assertion is this: when a metallic square moves inside a non-uniform magnetic field, then there is no induced EMF in it. When a metallic square moves inside a non-uniform magnetic field, then there is no induced EMF in it. Is it correct or incorrect? Metallic square moves inside a non-uniform magnetic field. Then there is no induced EMF in it. At least guess and answer. Sometimes it may be true.
Correct.
When a metallic square moves inside a non-uniform magnetic field, then there is no induced EMF in it. It is correct. Because here the metallic square moves inside a non-uniform magnetic field. Not in a uniform magnetic field, it moves in a non-uniform magnetic field. Now the reason: EMF is induced when there is a rate of change of magnetic flux. EMF is induced when there is a rate of change of magnetic flux.
True.
It is also correct. So you can check whether the reason is the correct explanation for the assertion. Here assertion is true, reason is true. So please check whether this reason is the correct explanation for assertion or not.
Not correct.
Not correct. What about others? Aditya, what do you think? Does the reason is the correct explanation for the assertion?
And correct explanation.
Actually, it is a correct explanation. This is the reason why the EMF is induced in it. So EMF is induced when there is a rate of change of magnetic flux. The reason is correct and it is the correct explanation for the assertion. If and only if a magnetic flux associated with it is changes, then only an EMF is induced in it. So whenever the magnetic field is non-uniform, then there will be no rate of change of magnetic flux associated with it is changes. So no induced EMF will be generated there. So here assertion is correct, reason is correct, and reason is the correct explanation for the assertion. So option A. Because if and only if the magnetic flux associated with it is changes, then only the magnetic field, the EMF is induced in the conductor. But in the first case, here we are consider a non-uniform magnetic field. So the rate of magnetic flux associated with it is not changes. That is why there are no induced EMF will be produced here. So both assertion and reason are correct, and reason is the correct explanation for the assertion. Okay, now it is 9:18. We can practice the same questions in the